we talking about solving systems using graphing calculators, so using matrices. Okay. Yeah. All right, so a matrix is simply an array of numbers. Okay. And the elements of a matrix are I'm going to say each number inside a matrix. So what we're going to be focusing on is looking at augmented matrices. Okay, so a matrix gives us a shortened way of writing a system of equations. The first step in solving a system of linear equations using matrices is to write the augmented matrix. So we're going to ignore this example spot right here, and we're just going to write these two examples as augmented matrices. What we focus on is just the coefficients. Okay, so we're going to fill in anything that's missing with a 0. So looking at this first one, we have 2y minus z equals 7. So we're missing an x. So I'm going to put 0x here. And then our first row of our matrix will be 0, 2, -1. And then we put like a vertical bar, represents our equal sign. And then 7. Okay. So what would the second row be for x plus 2y plus z equals 17?
1, 2,
1, 2, 1, 17. And then our third row would be 2, -3, 2, -1. Okay. All right, if we do B, same thing. So x minus 2y equals 2 would be what? 1, -2, 0, 2. What would our second row be? 2, 3, 1, 11. And then our third row, you're not in this class, so shush. Somebody that's in this class. What would the third row be?
0, 1.
Yeah.
1, -4, -7.
0, 1, 4. Sorry, 0, 1, -4, -7. Okay. So that's your augmented matrix. That's what we're going to be plugging into our graphing calculators. Okay. So our goal in solving a system of linear equations in 3 variables using matrices is to produce a matrix with ones down the diagonal from the upper left to the lower right. And then on the left side of the vertical bar, called the main diagonal. Okay, so our goal here is to get something that looks like this. The number. Okay. Make sure you check out the CTE. Okay. So in our graphing calculator, you're going to hit second matrix, which is the fourth one down on the left. Mine's going to look slightly different than yours just because of it's coming from an app. And then we're going to go over to edit. So I'm going to pull this up on my calculator. Okay, so you're going to go over to edit. And then we're just going to edit the first one, where it says A. And then hit enter. So then we want to type in the size of our matrix. Okay, so this first one, we're going to do A up here. Okay, how many columns does it have? Or sorry, how many rows does it have? 3 rows. And how many columns? 4. Maybe. There we go. And then it should give you what looks like a matrix. Okay. And now we're going to type these in. So just going straight across, 0, enter, 2, enter, -1, enter, 7, enter. 1, enter, 2, enter, 1, enter, 17, enter. 2, enter, -3, enter, 2, enter, -1. Okay. Once you have that, hit second quit. And then we're going to go back to that second matrix. And we're going to go over to, I feel like yours says something to go over to math. And then we're looking for something that says RREF. Which it should be B. Hit enter. And then we want matrix A typed in there. So we're going to go back to second matrix and then hit enter. And hit enter again. And then you get the matrix, which will spit out your solutions. Okay. So if we do that, we get x equals 4, y equals 5, z equals 3. And that is your answer. Okay. Questions with that? Okay. So what we're going to be focusing on today is applications and then having the calculator do the work for us. Okay. If you don't have a graphing calculator, I have another way you can do this. We can talk about it afterwards. Okay. Okay, we'll find it afterwards. Yep. Yeah, and if you have a Casio graphing calculator, I'll help you figure it out. There's an easy button. I just don't remember where it's at. All right, so I'm going to close this guy. All right, so applications. So a football is kicked straight upward. A position function s of t equals 1/2 a t squared plus initial velocity t plus initial distance s can be used to describe the ball's height s of t in feet after t seconds. Use the points labeled in the graph to find the values of a, v sub 0, and s sub 0, and then put it into a matrix. So you had one similar to this in your homework yesterday, okay? Except for it was asking for a linear function. It's the one that said like f of 2 equals 7, and you're changing it into slope-intercept form, okay? So this, we're going to be plugging it into our quadratic. So we have our first point, 2, 198. And this is going to be t and s of t. So if we plug that in, s of t is 198 equals 1/2 times a times 2 squared plus v sub 0 times 2 plus s sub 0. Okay, and then we're going to rewrite that. So what is 2 squared? And what's half of 4? So we can rewrite this as 2a plus 2, I'm going to just write v, I'm going to drop those zeros, plus s equals 198. There's our first equation. So now we're going to take the second ordered pair, 5, 246. So we have 246 equals half of a times 5 squared plus v sub 0 times 5 plus s sub 0. All right, what's 5 squared? 25. And we can't really do 25 divided by 2, so let's just leave it. 25 halves A plus 5V plus S equals 246. And then our last one, we have 8 6. So we have 6 equals 1/2 A times 8 squared plus V sub 0 times 8 plus S sub 0. So what's 8 squared times 1/2? So 32A plus 8V plus S equals 6. So now we can rewrite that as our matrix. So we have 2, 2, 1, 198. We have 25 halves, 5, 1, 246. 32, 8, 1, 6. And then we're going to plug that in our calculator and do reduced row echelon form. For the 25 halves, okay, you can either leave that 25 divided by 2, or if you want to type it in as 12 1/2, it doesn't matter. Okay, so if you do that, you should get your 1s and 0s on the left. And then what do you get for your top value? -32. And then your second value?
128.
And then your last one?
6.
This is your A, your V sub 0, and your S sub 0. All right. So I'm like out of room. So I'm going to write this up above. So if we plug this in now, we have 1/2 times -32 t squared plus 128t plus 6 equals our S of t, or our function. Well, what's half of -32? Half of 32. 16. So -16t squared plus 128t plus 6. And that is your function. So now, looking at part B, find and interpret S of 7. Identify your solution as a point on the graph shown. So if we want to find S of 7, we're just going to plug in what for t? 7. So we have -16 times 7 squared plus 128 times 7 plus 6. And then evaluate that function. So plug in your calculator and tell me what you get. 118. So if we were to show that on our graph, that would be right around here. Okay. So after 7 seconds, the ball is approximately 118 feet, I think. Yep, feet in the air. Then it says after how many seconds does the ball reach its maximum height, and what is its maximum height? So you have 2 ways you can do this. We know that the maximum is our vertex. Which we know x equals negative b over 2a. So you can do that. Well, if we look at the graph, which is given to us, what's the x value, or I guess in this instance, t, of that maximum value? Nope. What's this t or x value? Anyone? 4. So you can do it either way. So you can either plug this in, negative 246 divided by 2, or we can just say 4 from the graph. So then we want to plug it back in. So now we want to find S of 4. What's nice is if you already have that plugged into your calculator from doing S of 7, just hit your up arrow twice, hit enter, and then change the 7s to 4s. 262. So we know the maximum occurs after 4 seconds. It is 262 feet high. Okay, so your homework is primarily just applications. There are some where you're going to actually like just type in the augmented matrix, find your solutions, right? All right, go work on homework.